Welcome back to the Takedown with Cliff Schecter. I am Cliff Schecter. Today we again have to talk about the Orange Menace. I know. Cheeto dust Jesus, and we thought we'd be past him by now. He'd be off in some sort of retirement home for people with 400 cholesterol and above, or maybe living in a Saudi palace where he could have all the gold toilets he wanted. But no, he's still at the bedbug Mar-a-Lago with secret documents that have to keep being pulled out of there that he denied that he had. And he won't shut up. Just keeps talking, keeps teasing that he's going to run for re-election, even though his numbers are plummeting, even among Republicans. It took a lot, folks. I can go through a list in the next 2 hours of things that should have done that. In addition to all of that, we have to find out more from people writing books. You see, because people who write books are reporters, and reporters are reporting in the White House today, with some valiant exceptions, but for the most part, to make money. Not to actually tell us anything or, save the republic. That's what you used to do as a reporter. These days, you try to, if you're on the White House beat, you try to get all these friends in high places and find out all the goings on. Ooh, they're gonna pass a Muslim ban. Isn't that fascinating? Or, oh, look, they're gonna go and they're gonna take fire on protesters. Right. Most of these things we actually, or not most, but many we don't find out till afterwards because people want to write books who should be reporting it to us and they want to make money. We found out that our head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Miley, had to call his Chinese counterpart and say, no, yes, there's crazy stuff going on January 6th, but no reason for China to have to nuke us to save themselves. This is a conversation that happened. Donald Trump was going to be contained. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Be nice if we knew that at the time. And now we find out that Donald Trump has a conversation with a member of the New York Times, who are the worst of the worst when it comes to this. And I'm not going to even say who. You can figure it out if you want. One of their reporters who's writing a book, and she happens to say in this book that Trump said, when asked if he would run again, said, oh, well, I think it would be the best, the greatest. I'd run again because you don't even know all the secretive rich friends I have now. Secretive rich friends. I think in Donald Trump world, we know them as creditors. But who knows? My guess is, and it's funny, this plays into sort of everything going on out there, all the suspicions about what he was doing with his classified documents. But as we know, he's an effing moron, so he'd never be smart enough to not say something like that. He has to brag, no matter what kind of trouble it puts him in. He's got to be that Jack Nicholson character telling you that you want him on that wall and you can't handle the truth. So he's telling us about these rich friends of his, like, I'm just going to pick one out, the Saudis who rented out a whole floor in the Trump Hotel in D.C. when he still owned it, and who now have these golf tournaments going on at all his various bedbug clubs, and just gave Jared Kushner $2 billion to invest against the advice of their own investment professionals in Saudi Arabia. Why? I don't know. You tell me. Are these the secret wealthy people? Because they're not very secret. MBS and others, at the top of the Saudi Arabian pyramid, or Vladimir Putin and his mobsters who are propping him up, or Erdogan in Turkey, or you can go on and on. Bolsonaro, like, we know who most of the rich kleptocrats are. Aliyev, and don't want to forget that one, in Azerbaijan, which is trying to start a war with Armenia right now. There's going to be a Trump Tower in Baku there at one point. The thing is, we know about this. We know who most of these people are. We know who most of the shady characters are around them. So it's not as secretive as he thinks, but again, he's dumb. In his mind, he thinks, oh, all these people, it's all worth it. He's the elite guy, the one everybody's talking about with the high ratings and all of that he always wanted to be when he stared aimlessly across the river from Queens to Manhattan and dreamed of being a big shot. In the end, of course, as we know, had he not been president, he wouldn't have been impeached twice. He wouldn't have multiple investigations. We wouldn't have prime time January 6th hearings coming up that apparently are going to show calls coming from the White House to the actual rioters. That should help his case a lot. We just had Letitia James file a civil suit for $250 million, which Trump does not have. That's where the rich friends come in, I'm sure, to going after the whole Trump organization and recommending that it be criminally taken down by the Southern District of New York prosecutor. I mean, they have the death penalty for companies in New York, which means you're committing crimes, they can end you. And then Trump's little company is gone, and he's embarrassed and sad and has a attack of narcissistic injury. But this all comes down to the guy still, if he thinks it sounds important, if he thinks it makes him sound like a big shot, like he's got high ratings, like he's popular, like he's really elite, that's all that matters. I mean, there's just nothing more to him. He's just a big ball of Cheeto narcissism, and that's all he'll ever be. And it's just amazing how long it takes people to see through this con man. Some are now. Many who stood and attacked on January 6th for him are now starting to realize that some of them have spoken to the January 6th committee. Others have said they can't believe what they did. But this con man takes people in again and again and destroys them. And it's unbelievable how well it works again and again. It points to serious flaw in human evolution, I would say. We have a lot of dumb people. So Trump would still do it. The lawsuits, the impeachments, the embarrassments, the fact that there's a very good chance he's going to either have to run out of this country and live hiding somewhere or spend time in prison, that civil suits going after his business. Certainly if he does what runs out of the country, all of his business assets will be frozen here. And, I'm sure maybe he's stashed some abroad at this point. But the point is that he won't be the big shot anymore. It'll just be some loser on the run. Some guy who's pathetic and couldn't win re-election and nobody likes anymore and just laughs at. And that's the worst thing in the world to Donald Trump in the end. So I hope he ends up in prison. But either way, he's going to get his punishment, and I can't wait for it. Guys, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Please subscribe and turn on your notifications and like and comment. And we will be back soon.